Jaws, Jurassic Park, Indiana Jones, Star Wars, Harry Potter. What do all these films have in common other than the fact that they are known and loved around the world? The common denominator behind all of these is the man behind the music, a one Mr. John Williams. His musical compositions for these and hundreds of other films have changed the face of filmmaking for years to come. Find me a person over the age of 10 who doesn't recognize the theme of Jurassic Park or the prologue to Harry Potter that plays at the beginning of every movie, or the epic main title of Star Wars blaring through the speakers as the famous yellow script plays through. Chances are you'll have a hard time finding someone who can't recognize these from the moment they are played. Each of these scores were written by the same musical genius, and John Williams' works have played a role in every child's youth. In preparation for this speech, I spent hours researching this man and all of his musical works, and whose compositions I grew up listening to as a child. I fell in love with all of his works, and they played a role in inspiring me to become a musician myself. In this speech, I will provide you with the background info of John Williams' life and how he got started in the music industry and composing, and then I will tell you of his massive success as a film composer, before closing with an acknowledgement of his great achievement in the film industry. Before his worldwide success working for top-notch directors on multi-billion-dollar box office hits, John Williams had to get his start somewhere. John Williams was going to be a musician. According to Britannica.com, John Williams' father was a jazz percussionist for the CBS Radio Orchestra, and Williams himself took piano, trombone, trumpet, and clarinet lessons starting at the age of 7, before he began composing his own music as a teenager. When his family moved from New York to LA in 1948, he began privately studying composition with Mario Castronuovo Tedesco, a famous Italian guitar composer. After graduating high school, he then went to UCLA to professionally study composition training. In 1951, he was drafted into the U.S. Air Force, where he wrote and conducted band music for the U.S. Air Force Band. After returning from the war, he studied piano at Juilliard before returning to LA to be a film studio musician, working with a variety of accomplished composers. He began composing his own scores for iconic TV shows such as Gilligan's Island and Lost in Space, famous television shows of the time. After achieving great success as a TV score composer and earning his start as a film composer on small films, a young new director by the name of Steven Spielberg approached Williams to be the composer for his first feature film, The Sugarland Express. The decades-long collaboration and friendship between John Williams and Steven Spielberg is one of the best in all the filmmaking industry. John Williams has composed the music scores for all but 2 of Spielberg's films, including Jaws, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, E.T., Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, Schindler's List, War Horse, and most recently, the BFG. With Spielberg as a close friend, Williams was introduced to other famous directors, such as Spielberg's good friend, George Lucas, which led to Williams composing the scores for not only the original 3 Star Wars films, episodes 4 through 6, but episodes 1 through 3 as well, when they were revamped in the 2000s. The partnerships between Williams and Spielberg and Williams and Lucas made John Williams one of the foremost film composers of the century. Many of Williams' compositions are for adventure-filled fantasy or sci-fi films, and his compositions are easily recognizable with their powerful fanfares and marches. He's been praised to no end by all of the directors he works with for being able to capture the mood and the feeling that the directors envisioned for a scene and directly translating those feelings into his compositions. Williams' success as a film composer, working with famous directors, has brought you, the public, these amazing world-renowned films that will be remembered as classics of the last 50 years. His success has not gone unnoticed, and these various awards and honors he has granted play to that tune. John Williams is the most award-nominated individual alive today. He has received 50 Academy Award nominations, second only to Walt Disney, who has received 51. Of those 50 nominations, he has won 5. He has received 64 Grammy nominations. Of those 64, he has won 20 Grammy Awards and received 22 Golden Globe nominations, of which he has won 4. He also holds honorary degrees from 22 schools and universities, including Juilliard, Berklee College of Music, and Harvard University. John Williams has had massive success in his life from a young age and continues to grow in his success every year. Today I've discussed John Williams and his introduction to the music industry and his start with composing music, starting in his teen years, to how he earned massive success working with famous directors like Steven Spielberg and George Lucas, collaborations with whom made these films box office hits to remember for centuries. And then I concluded with the recognition he has received nation and worldwide for his musical genius. While many may not at first recognize the importance of music to a film, John Williams' work as a composer has impacted and influenced a wide variety of people who grew up watching feature films that contain Williams' amazing compositions. From current generations who were all inspired by Jaws and Star Wars to future generations with films yet to be made, the work musical genius John Williams has shared with the world through his films will never be forgotten, as the music he made lives on in our minds and our hearts.